In Vermont, we have watershed organizations that really have started out of a love of that home, that local water body. Sometimes if we're thinking just about a certain water body or a certain piece of land, we might not really be thinking about how all of those areas are connected together. And when you're thinking about a watershed, you're realizing that every bit of our land has water that's flowing into a water body. And it makes us just start thinking about what's happening in one part of our watershed might be impacting an area downstream in another part of our watershed.
The Green River Watershed Alliance is a group of concerned organizations and citizens who live and work within the Green River watershed.
As an alliance, we consider ourselves a collaborative of diverse partners that are allied in a care for this watershed. Our mission is to support connection and stewardship opportunities in the watershed, which in turn enhance ecosystem health, community flood resiliency, and watershed awareness and identity as a whole.
I know that the committee is really committed to approaching what they do with the river from the perspective of how the community uses it and loves it, where people live, what the environmental concerns are with the river, with planning and a long vision with the river in terms of climate change and development.
The Alliance's roots go back to 1988 and the founding of the Green River Watershed Preservation Alliance, in defiant response to the proposed building of a gas-fired power plant along the river in Coleraine, Massachusetts. The dedicated efforts of Halifax resident Doug Riggs and many others to explore, steward, and preserve this watershed has gone on to inspire more than 30 years of collaboration across communities, organizations, and state borders.
Rivers and watersheds don't observe state or municipal boundaries, then those of us who live here, shouldn't either. And there's a strong interest from this group and many others now to really build on that kind of landscape connectivity and partner connectivity across, watersheds and across the state border.
And as we go forward working together, part of what I'm doing in our basin plan here is recommending that the Green River be reclassified to what we call an A1 water body, which is our highest, best classification. And the reason we want to do that is because once the Green River reaches the Massachusetts state border, it's drinking water supply for Greenfield, Massachusetts. So, Vermont doing our part to keep that watershed clean and to keep that water supply clean for folks in Massachusetts is a really important piece. It's a bi-state watershed. We're all working on the same water. We all want it to be as good and clean and available as possible. So it's nice to have that better connection and better communication and cooperation with Vermont and Massachusetts. And some of that is because this group has formed and brought all those folks together.